Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I am continuing with my Arkham Horror Card Game. This is scenario number 2 of the Dunwich Legacy. The previous video I played part 1 called The House Always Wins. You could choose to play one scenario or the other first. I chose that one and I can't even remember which deck has the professor that I recovered. One of them does. But in this game, I am going after Professor Warren Rice, last seen at the Humanities Department of Miskatonic University. Let's search for him there. All right, so what I've done is I've gone ahead and drawn my initial cards. I did 2 cards mulligan here, and I did 4 card mulligan here. The deck is not great, but it's all I can work with. I am starting with 5 resources on each, and the 2 investigators, Jenny Barnes and Mark Harrigan, begin at the Miskatonic Quad. It has 0 clues on it. It has a 3 shroud. It says this is where you can come to resign. You can't find Rice anywhere. Hopefully I won't have to do that, but somewhere in these locations, I've never played Dunwich Legacy before, so this is totally new to me. I assume that he's in one of these and I've got to go find them. So let me read you the agenda and the act. So the agenda, this is what you do not want to advance. You have arrived at Miskatonic University campus in search of Professor Warren Rice. Classes are over and a mysterious silence hangs in the air over the quad. This takes 7 doom tokens to advance, and I don't want that to advance. All right, the act, which is the one I do want to advance, takes 3 clues per player, or per investigator, so I need 6 to advance it. Professor Rice was last seen several hours ago by one of Armitage's students in the Humanities building, which is that one. All right, so I guess that's where I'm going to start. So normally you start with the Mythos phase, but on the first time playing, you ignore the Mythos phase the first round. So I won't be doing that and placing a Doom token. I will shuffle the encounter deck. I've already shuffled it numerous times, but just shuffle it again. Their decks are ready to go. So let's start with Jenny. Jenny will start us off. She is going to travel to the Humanities building, which is what his last known location. My guess is that's not where he is, but I mean, I might be surprised, and maybe he is there, and maybe he's going to help me do something else. I don't know. So, for lack of any information, I will start at the Humanities building. So she travels there. That's action number 1. I get to flip this over. Okay, the Humanities building. At the end of your turn, if you are in the Humanities building, discard the top X cards of your deck, where X is the amount of horror on you. Well, okay, good. She doesn't have any horror, so it has 2 per player, so it has 4 clues. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so 4 clues. Okay. So she moved, and now she's got 2 actions. So let's do this. It has a shroud of 3. Let me see. Does she have anything to play? No flashlight. Nothing that gets her any extra clues. No. All right. So her research is 3, and I'm going against a shroud of 3. So I need to bump that up. I will play evidence. It says play after you defeat an enemy, discover 1 clue. Well, I don't have an enemy, but I do need to bump this up. So I'm going to discard that. She is now at 5 versus 3. Those are better odds. 5 versus 3. And I drew a +1, so she does get a clue. And for her third and final action, I'm going to go ahead and investigate again. Do I have anything? I don't have anything to contribute. I could do the double or nothing. Double the difficulty of the test. Ooh, no. If this test succeeds, resolve the effects of the successful test twice. Oh, I could have done that to get 2 clues. But I would have been going up against a 6. Oh, I should have done that first. Oh, well. because I could have bumped it up a little bit more. No, I couldn't. No, I couldn't. All right, so she's just going to do a straight investigate, which is 3 versus 3. I'm going to contribute this for the wild just to make it 4 versus 3. 4 versus 3. I got the green shroud. The green shroud is -1, so I still tied it. -3 if there are 10 or more cards in your discard pile. Well, there's only 2, so she did succeed. She got the second clue, and her turn is done. Okay, now the question is, do I want Mark to branch off, or do I want to keep them together? The fact that this says where X is the amount of horror on you makes me wonder if there's some creature that's going to be popping up here. I tend to think I want to keep them together. That way I can help out with cards and also engage monsters that might be too tough for one. Because he's got to fight a 5 and she's got to fight a 3. So I'm going to move here for first action. Second action is he's going to investigate. And he can contribute... Well, let's see. That's a fight. That's a sanity. So he can only contribute. This is not good. Place 1 ammo or on an asset controlled by an investigator. That's actually pretty good. And I like Greta because she can discover. After you defeat an enemy, exhaust or deal 1 damage, discover 1 clue at your location. I'm going to play all 5 and get Greta out. She's pretty powerful. She doesn't really give him anything in terms of bonuses. So that was his second action. For third and final action, do I want to... He's 2 versus 3, so he's going to lose that. So I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to contribute Venturer. I'm going to exhaust it or discard it. I get 1, so that brings him up to 3 versus 3. Can she contribute anything? No, she cannot. So it's a straight 3 versus 3. Not great odds, but we'll see. 3 versus 3. 3 plus 1 is 4, so he did get 1. All right. Does he want to do again? Yeah, this time he's just 2 versus 3. Man. All right, do I want to waste... I'm probably not going to get that. So the question is, do I draw a card or get a resource? Because he's going to need to... Tough. Let's draw a card. All right, he got physical training, which doesn't really help me, but oh well. All right, so that is his third and final action. He flips over. It is now the creature phase. There are no creatures, so we go to upkeep. I flip these back over. They each get a resource. Now, Jenny gets an extra resource, so she gets 2. And they each draw a card. Jenny draws a switchblade, and Mark draws... he drew his weakness, shell shock. For every 2 damage on you, take a horror. Excellent! So there's nothing on me. So, and it goes away. That's excellent. All right, cool. It is now the Mythos phase. On the Mythos phase, you place a Doom token on the agenda. There's 1 out of 7. And then I have to draw from here based on their order. So Jenny went first, so she'll draw. She has a Thrall, Spawn, location with the most clues. Well, that just happens to be here because none of the others have been revealed. Although technically I could put it here. But somebody's gonna have to fight it. I'm gonna put it here. They'll have to go back through, but that's okay. As the lead investigator, I can choose. If there's a tie, I can choose. So I'm going to put it here. The most clues. No. Nope. That's 0 clues. It has to go here. So, and it's her turn, I believe, which means it will... When it spawns here, and it's going to engage. But the question is, who does it engage with? Let me see if I can figure that out. So, during the creature phase, enemies. Some enemies have the hunter keyword. Resolve the steps. Okay. If there are no enemies in play, proceed. All right, each enemy moves once. That's the hunter. If the hunter enemy... Okay, so when a monster is pulled during the Mythos phase, let me see what happens. Here it is, enemy engagement. While an enemy card is in play, either it is engaged with an investigator and placed in that area, or it is at a location. Each enemy in an investigator's threat area is considered to be at the same location. Should the investigator move, the enemy remains engaged with the investigator. Anytime a ready, non-engaged enemy is at the same location, it engages that investigator and is placed at the... If multiple investigators are at the same location, the lead investigator chooses. Okay, so I'll choose to put it with Mark. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so she drew that. Mark's going to draw. Mark draws Terror from Beyond. Peril. Choose one of the following card types: asset, event, or skill. Each player must discard each card in his or her hand that is of that chosen card type. If this is not the first copy of Terror drawn this phase, choose 2 card types. Wow. Okay, so I have to discard a type. She has 3 assets and 2 events. He has asset and skill and events. So... skill, event. I'm going to get rid of the events because it's the fewer cards. So he'll get rid of 2, and she'll have to get rid of... Oh, she gets rid of dodge, which is... that hurts, but oh well. All right, so that card goes away. All right, and the thrall is in play. So now it is Jenny's turn. She will investigate. She drew really nothing. But she's going to get a weapon out. She's going to pay 3 and get her weapon out for her first action. And it gets 3 ammo on it. And for her second action, she will investigate, which is bad because she really doesn't have anything to contribute. You know what? If he fights the thrall and defeats it, he will discover a clue. So you know what? Her second action... she's going to leave here. That's her move. And for her third action, does she go to the Orne Library, Administration Building, Student Union, or the Science Building? Let's go to... this is... I mean, it doesn't really matter. Well, it probably does. He's in one of these, but... let's go to the Administration Building. We'll go right here. So flip it over. Ugh, Shroud of 4. And it has 2 clues on it. That's a high shroud. Man. All right, 2 clues. So she is there. So she played Derringer, and she moved, and she moved. So she is done. Okay, this one says, after Administration Building is revealed, put the set-aside faculty offices. Okay, that's a location. Faculty office. Here it is. Faculty office says, the door leading into the faculty office is locked. You cannot move. Okay. Okay, I can't go in there. Interesting. All right, well, she's done. I wonder how I get in there. Mark needs to fight the thrall. He will fight. He is 5 versus 2. I could contribute. I'm going to contribute overpower because if the test is successful, I get to draw a card. So he's now at 7. Greta gives him 8. 8 versus 2. The only thing that's going to hurt me is the auto fail. 8 versus 2, and if I succeed, I get to draw a card and discover a clue. 8 minus 0 is 8, so I still win. So he gets the clue. He gets to draw a card. He got Unexpected Courage. And the thrall is defeated because he gets +1 damage. Oh, no. No. He has to defeat it. And, oh, you know what I should have done was, I don't do any additional damage. After you defeat an enemy, exhaust her, deal damage to her, discover. Okay, so I still have to do a damage to her. But this thing only has 1 damage on it. So I've got to fight it one more time. So 5 versus 2. 5 plus 1. I did defeat it. So I defeated it. I already did this part. I exhaust her. She takes a point of damage. I drew a card. And I got the clue. So that was his second action. Okay. I guess I'll move. I can only move here. So all the clues are off here. So I don't understand. Forced. Okay. Okay. He didn't have any horror on him, so that's good. All right. So he will move here. That is the end of his turn. It is now the creature phase. There are no creatures. So upkeep. Flip these over. They each get a resource. And Jenny gets 2. And they each draw a card. She draws elusive. Okay. He draws 45. I needed a weapon. All right, good. Okay, but he doesn't have enough. He doesn't have enough resources. All right, so now it is the Mythos phase. I place a token. There's second one, and remember it needs 7 to advance. Who went first? Jenny went first. She draws a card. Beyond the Veil. Put the Beyond the Veil into play in your threat area, and if there is no other copy of Beyond the Veil in your threat. Forced. If your deck has no cards in it, well, okay, it's got plenty. Take 10 damage. Oh, and discard it. Oh man, she's only got 8 health. So that means I can't. I need to try and not use up her deck. And apparently, it's got Surge on it, which means I have to pull again. Pushed into the void. Revelation. Choose and shuffle a non-story asset you control into your deck and discard the top 3 cards of your deck. If a copy of that asset is discarded, take 2 horror. Choose and shuffle a non-story asset. Well, I don't have a non-story. Oh, I do. I have the Derringer. Choose and shuffle a non-story asset you control into your deck and discard the top 3 cards. If a copy of that asset is discarded, take 2. So if I discard this, I take 2 horror. Man, she got a weapon and now she loses it. So let me shuffle this up, and then I've got to discard 3 cards, and hopefully I don't discard the 41, the Derringer. All right, so 1, 2, 3. All right, I did not. All right, and then Mark draws and got Eager for Death. This doesn't sound good. Test 2 sanity. Increase this skill's test difficulty by 1 for each damage on you. He has no damage. So 2 sanity. His sanity is 3. I will contribute Guts because if I succeed, I get to draw a card. So he's at 5 versus 2. Five minus 1 is 4. So I did succeed, and I get to draw a card. Trusted. Attached to an asset you control, +1 health, +1 sanity. Okay. All right. That is it for the Mythos phase. It is now time for Jenny and Mark. All right. What do I do here? I can't go in here. I need 6. So I need these 2. But man, 4 is going to be hard to beat. Let's see if there's let's go to the Student Union and see if it's a lower. There we go. How many clues? Only 2 clues, but that's enough to advance the story. And it's a Shroud of 1. Forced. After Student Union is revealed, put the set-aside dormitories into play. Okay, dormitories. Right here. Dormitories. The door leading to the dormitories is locked. Well, okay. How do I get in there? That's weird. All right, I can't get into dormitories and I can't get into faculty offices. All right, I need those 2 clues. He's got 2 chances here. He will. Unexpected Courage is a wild card. His research is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. I'm doing a 4 versus 1 Shroud. 4 minus 2 is 2, so I did. I got the 3rd clue, or the 5th clue. He's going to do it again. He is back down to 2 versus 1, and I can contribute nothing. I got nothing to help. This is a long shot. 2 versus 1. 2 minus 1 is 1, so I tied. So I do get the last clue. That is the end of his turn. I do have 6 clues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which I can use to advance the act. Okay, you flip it over and you read. You were unable to find Professor Rice, but one of the students you spoke with mentioned a strange man entering Rice's office. Unfortunately, the door leading to the faculty offices, that's here, is closed. The student said that the head janitor, Jazz, might be able to let you in if you can find him. Shuffle the encounter discard pile and the set-aside Jazz mulligan into the encounter deck. Ugh. Alright, so Jazz is one of these extra cards over here. Where is he? I'm supposed to shuffle him and these. So I got to find him. That's going to be a hard... Trying to get him out of this deck. Come on. There's like 30 or 40 cards in here. So I have to get him to gain access to the faculty office. Alright. Alright, so now I need to read Act 2. Rice's whereabouts. Concerned for Professor Rice's safety, you seek out the head janitor who can let you into the locked section of the campus. As an action, spend a clue. Discard the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. Top 10 if there is only one player in the game. Well, I'm playing 2 investigators, so that counts as 2 players. Forced. If you discard Jazz Mulligan, resolve his revelation. Objective. When you take control of Jazz, advance this. So now I've got to find him in that deck. And the only way I can do that is to spend actions, and I have to spend a clue. So I got to get clues. All right, so he's done. It is now Jenny's turn, and she's at the admin building with a 4 shroud, and she's got nothing to help her, so she's at 3. Let's go to the science building. Oh, that's 1, 2. Oh, come on. She's not. There's no way she's gonna get those 2 clues. Can he do it? No. All right, so I'm going to go first action move, second action move, reveal. 2 shroud, 2 clues. I can do that. This says forced. After science building is revealed, put the set aside alchemy lab. Okay, that's the last thing. Alchemy lab. All right, the door leading into the alchemy lab is locked. Of course it is. All right, everything's locked until I guess I find this Jazz guy. All right. All right, so she moved. She can try to get a clue. She can contribute this to get it up to 3. Well, her research is 3. Now it's at 4. 4 versus 2. When you fail a sanity test in the science building, take a damage. Ooh, okay. 4 versus 2. Ooh, I got the Elder Sign, which is +1 for each resource. Well, she's got a ton. So she does get a clue. And before her turn ends, I will spin this clue. And how many do I get to do? 5, I think. Spend a clue. Oh, it's an action, so I can't. She doesn't have any actions left. All right, so it'll have to be on her next turn. All right, so can't do that this turn. That is it for her. It is now creature phase. There are no creatures. It makes me worried that all the creatures are going to come out all at once. I don't know where they are, but they're coming. Let's see. I flip these over. They each get a resource. Jenny gets 2. Man, she's just loading up on the resources here. He gets 1 card. She gets guts. He gets emergency cash, which I guess he could use. Okay. Now it's the Mythos phase. Put a Doom token on. Now there are 3 out of 7. Jenny went last. Mark went first. So Mark draws Eager for Death. Again, test 2 sanity. Increase if you have any damage on you. He doesn't. His sanity is 3. 3 versus 2. I could add something. Let's see. I can add... Play only as touching. I don't want to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this. And that'll bump it up 1. So he's now at 4 sanity versus 2. 4 minus 1 is 3, so I did beat it. Jenny gets Offer of Power. It's a pact. You must either draw 2 cards and place 2 Doom on the current agenda, or take 2 Horror. Her Horror is 7. I'll take the Horror. I do not want to advance that Doom, so she'll take 2 Horror. All right. Okay. That is it for the Mythos phase. All right. So Jenny, on her turn, Jenny will. She needs a weapon. Well, not yet. She doesn't need it yet. So let's do this. I'm gonna, as an action, I'm gonna spend the clue to get rid of 5 cards. 1, 2, 3. There's a monster. 4, 5. Okay, that didn't do any good. I did not find Jazz. Second turn, she's going to investigate. She is doing a 3 versus 2. I have nothing to help her, so it's just a straight 3v2. 3 plus 1, so I do get it. That's her second action. And for her third action, she'll spend it to discard 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing. All right, that means I got to get more clues. All right, so she is done. That is her turn. There are no more clues here, no more clues there. He does not have a chance. Orne Library. First action, second action, reveal this. Come on, 2 clues. And I'm running out of clues. I only got 4 left. 2 clues, and you must spend 1 additional action to investigate the library. So he went 1, 2. He can investigate, but he can't because it takes an additional action. He doesn't. So he only has 1 action left. I'm going to have him draw a card. Actually, I'm going to have him draw a resource. Actually, he'll get a resource, so I can pay for that. He'll draw this. Okay, that's fine. All right. He is done. That is the end of the turn. No creatures, thankfully. Upkeep, flip, and flip. She gets 2 resources. He gets 1, and draw a card. Perception. She draws sleight of hand. Play only. Put an item asset into play from your hand. At the end of your turn, if that asset is played, return it. So I could drop an asset in real fast, but it has to come back to my hand. I don't know about that one. All right. Let's see. Mythos phase. So put a token. It's got 4 out of 7 now. Who went first? Jenny did. Jenny draws a card. Visions of future past. Test 5 sanity. For each point you fail by, discard a top card of your deck. And she's at the science building, which says when you fail a sanity test, take a damage. Oh, 5 sanity. Her sanity is what? 3? Oh, man. Well, she's got guts, which will bump it to 5. 3, 4, 5. And that is all she's got. She's got to beat this, or she's going to take some damage. She's going to take some damage and discard a card. 5 versus 5. 5 minus 1 is 4, so I do fail it. So I take a damage. And I only missed it by 1, so I have to discard a card. Oh, searching for Izzy, her weakness. It discards, so I don't believe, I think, since it's her weakness, Revelation. Attach searching for Izzy to the location farthest. I don't know. I think Revelation means it has to come into play. Let me double check that. Revelation. 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 I don't see it, and this is where I really need to find my book of rules. So I'm going to play, since I don't know the rule, I am going to play what they call, where you play the worst case scenario. Obviously, putting it in her discard pile would be good for me, because if I don't recover this card before the end of the game, she comes back to the game with 1 permanent mental trauma. So I'm down to 6 sanity when the game starts. So I'm going to go ahead and play it that it has to be in play. Attach it to the farthest location. Where is she? She's right here. So this location is 1. These are 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. This goes away. So they're all equal distant. So I get to choose. I I will. I'll put it with. I'll put it here at the Orne Library because at the worst case scenario, Mark can retrieve it. It just requires 2 investigates to get it off the table, so I'm going to leave it there. All right. She drew her card. Now Mark draws his. No, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah, she drew Visions of Futures Past. He draws Light of Aforgomon. You must attach Light of Aforgomon to either the current agenda or the current act. Limit 1 per agenda. Treat all damage as direct damage and all horror as direct. So I think that means your allies, if you can't assign damage. How do you get rid of this? You can't. You must attach light to either the current agenda or current act. I think when it forwards, when the agenda or act progresses, you can get rid of this. Treat all damage as direct damage and all horror as direct horror. Okay, let's put it. That can only get forwarded when I find Jazz, and so far not looking good. So this is more likely to advance first, so I'll put it with the agenda. All right, that is the end of the Mythos phase. Now it's the investigator phase. All right, she is going to... What's her investigate? Her investigate is 3, and she does not... She has 1 investigate card. All right, for her first action, boom. Second action, boom. And for her third and final action, she will investigate for a clue. She is 3. I'm going to toss this in to make it 4. He is going to toss something in. He'll toss this in to make it 4, 5, 6. 6 versus... Well, you know what? He's going to need this if he investigates. So anyway, I'll contribute. He does not need... She needs the cards, so I'll contribute this so she can draw a card. Max committed. You know what? He gets to draw a card because he contributes it. All right, so she is at 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 versus 3. I like these odds unless I get the auto fail. 6 versus 3. I got the 0, so she gets a clue, but she's out of actions. So she cannot spend that clue to do this. It is now his turn, and he gets to draw a card because it was successful. He got a weakness. Add Haunted to your threat. You get -1 to each of your skills. 2 actions to discard it. Well, of course, I'm going to take 2 actions and get rid of it. And now he only has 1 action left. So for his last action, he will investigate, and he will use this to bump it from 2, 3, 4. 4 versus 3. 4. Ooh, what is the skull? Minus X. X is the total printed cost of the discard. Discard the top 2 cards of your deck. 1, 2. X is the total printed cost. 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. -4, so he fails. So he failed it. Ow! That one really hurt. Okay. All right. That's the end of his turn. He did not get the clue. It is now creature phase. There are no creatures. Upkeep. Flip them over. She gets 2 resources. She's just swimming in resources. They each get a card. He got Manual Dexterity. She got Mob Enforcer. Ooh, she got a Prey. Prey. Bear only. Okay. Spend 4 resources. You can discard it. She can do that on her next turn instead of fighting it. All right. Put a Doom token. There are now 5 out of 7. Mark went first, so he draws a Thrall. He's got someone to deal with. And Jenny draws Offer of Power. You must either draw 2 cards and place 2 Doom or take 2 Horror. Well, I'm going to regret this, but I'm going to take the 2 Horror. She's at 4 Horror. And that's just not good. All right. Now it is the investigator's turn. All right, let's go with Mark first. Mark will fight the Thrall. He is at 5 fight versus 2. Greta gives him +1. If he beats this, he'll get that last clue. So I need to play 40. I'll pay 4 for his first action to put the gun out and play. It's got 4 bullets. Second action, I'm going to fight. I will spend a bullet, which does +1 damage and +1 fight. So this will kill it completely if I hit it. So he's at 5, 6, 7 versus 2. The only thing I don't want to see is the auto fail. 7 versus 2. Come on. 7 minus 1. Actually, it says -3 if there's 10 or more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so it's -3. So what did I say he was at? 5, 6, 7. 7 minus 3 is 4, which still beats it. And it does the +1 damage. The creature is killed. And because it's killed, I will exhaust Greta to discover a clue. And for his third and final action, he will spin the clue to burn 5 cards here and hope find Jazz. Ah, there he is. All right. So Jazz, revelation, put him into play at your location. All right, so he's here. While he is not controlled, he gains action, parlay, tests 3 knowledge. If successful, take control. When you control Jazz, you ignore the text on each unrevealed miscut. Oh, so he's the one who lets me into these play. I got it. Okay, I got it. All right, so that is the end of Mark's turn. I've still got Jenny. I don't have to spend that clue because we found him. She's going to spend 2 actions to take searching for Izzy. If you succeed, discard. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, discard searching for Izzy. Oh, I have to do an investigate. So I have the shroud is 3. Her research is 3, and I have nothing to contribute, but Mark, nope. This is getting low. She's got 3 actions. Do I want to burn that right now? Or he could burn it, couldn't he? So yeah, so she's going to parlay with him. Test 3 books. She's at 3 book. She gets 3 chances to get him. So 3 versus 3. There we go. He is now mine. So when you control Jazz, okay, so I control him. So he's an ally now. So that was the first action. Second action, I will move. Third action, you know what I forgot to do? She parlayed. She's got to get rid of the Mom Enforcer. So as her last action, she'll spend 4 clues. 1, 2, 3, 4 to discard him. So she can only do 1 action, which is to move here. All right, so that's all she gets. All right. So that is her turn. She has Jazz, which is good. He's got a gun out, which is good. All right, no creatures. So everybody gets to upkeep. They flip over. She gets 2 resources. He gets 1. They draw a card. He got Glory. She gets Liquid Courage. All right, I'll have to read that and see what that is. Choose an investigator location to heal a horror. Then that investigator tests 2 sanity. If you see here, she heals 1. Oh, good. She can use this to get rid of some of these horror on her. All right. Put this back in. So they drew their card. They got the thing. So now it is the Mythos phase. 6th token goes on here. She went second. So Mark draws a card. He got Arcane Barrier. Attached to your location. As an additional cost to move in or out of the attached location, test 4 sanity. If successful, discard it. Otherwise, you must cancel the effect of the move or discard the top 5 cards of your deck. Ooh, okay. That hurts. All right. And then Jenny draws Visions of Future Past. Test 5 sanity. For each point you fail, discard a top card of your deck. She can contribute Liquid Courage, but the problem is I need that to heal. I'm going to go ahead and do... Her sanity is 3. She's going to fail this unless I get the... I'm just going to hope for the Elder Sign. 3 versus 5. I got the Skull, which is -1. If you fail, discard the top 3 cards. So she failed it. So because she failed it, she got she got -1, so she's 2. She missed it by 3 plus, so she discards 3, and this one says discard a card in your deck if you failed it. So she's got to discard 4. 1, first aid. 2, 3, 4. Man. Her deck is getting small, and that's worrying me because this Beyond the Veil is going to do her 10 damage if it gets down to nothing. All right. So let's see. Mark drew the barrier. She drew that. So, all right. So that goes away. Where was that? That goes away. It is now their turn. She has Jazz. I don't need the clues anymore, so she can go straight to the office. Because that's where they said somebody was seen. But is that misleading? Maybe that's just a monster waiting for me in there. When I flip it over, it's going to tell me to spawn something. I don't know what to do. All right, let's move. 1, 2, because remember, she can get in here with Jazz. So that reveals this. Faculty offices. No clues, 2 shroud, no sign of Professor Rice. So, okay. So it's empty. Okay, well she's got one more action, so I'm going to spend this to spend Liquid Courage, and it says spend a supply. I did. Choose an investigator to heal a horror. All right, I healed a horror. Then it says test 2 sanity. Well, her sanity is 3, and if the test succeeds, she can remove additional. If it fails, he or she discards 1 card at random. So I'm doing 3 versus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. I did fail it, so I have to discard a random one. I only have 2 cards. I'll put them behind my back, shuffle them up a little bit, and I'll get rid of this one, which I got rid of her Switchblade. All right. Okay, so she got rid of that as well. That is the end of her turn. Mark. Well, Mark needs to do an investigate to get Izzy if I want her to not have a permanent one. He can do this, which bumps his investigate up to 4. 4 versus 3, not great odds, but I'll do it. And this is burning 2 actions. 4 versus 2, or 4 versus 3, excuse me. I did it. And his says after +1 effect for each day. Okay, so I did it. All right, so I got this, which goes, where does it go? When the game ends, if you succeed, instead of discovering, discard it. So it goes in her discard pile. All right, so he's got 1 action left. He needs to get over here somewhere. Now this says, and she's got 2 damage on her. This says, as an additional cost to move out, test for sanity. If successful, discard it. Otherwise, you must either cancel the effect of the move or discard the top 5 cards. So I can move, but I'll have to discard top 5 if I fail the test. Sanity, he's got 3 sanity. I cannot contribute any. Yeah, I can. I can contribute this to make it 4 versus 4. It's as good as I can get it. 4 versus 4. I got the skull. 4 minus 1 is 3. So I still did it. Oh no, I failed it. So I will discard this, and it says I have to discard 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then that allows him to move here, which is his last action. All right. Okay, let's keep going. It is now upkeep because there's no creatures. So these things flip. She gets 2 resources. Man, Jenny has a ton of resources. I just haven't had any cards to play. He gets 1, and they each draw a card. He draws Flashlight. Well, that doesn't really help because I don't think I need clues anymore. And she draws Stealth. Exhaust Stealth. Evade. The chosen enemy gets -2 evade. Okay, that could help. I haven't really had any enemies in this game. This is really weird. I guess really what I am is searching for the professor before this runs out. All right, so here's the deal. It is now the start of the Mythos phase. The 7th token comes on, which triggers this. These go away. Okay, and then this flips. The university is dead silent. The shadows coil about your feet as you walk, and you swear there is something following you with each step you take. Is it just your imagination, or is there really someone or something stalking you? Each investigator with 5 or more cards in his discard pile takes a horror. Well, she's got more than 5. And I know he does, so he takes a horror as well. Oh, each investigator with 10 or more cards takes 2 instead. Well, yeah. And yeah. So she takes 2 and he takes another one. Man! If the players have completed the house always wins. I did. Advance directly to agenda 2B. 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 Here's 2A. So this doesn't even have, this just goes straight to 2B. A cry of fear echoes through the campus, and several students flee from the eastern side of the university, where the science building can be found. That's here. Could this commotion be linked to Professor Rice? If the dormitory's location is not in play, put it into play. It's here. If the experiment is in play, move it. It's not. Move it one location. If the experiment is not in play, spawn it in the science building. Experiment. Oh, here we go. Now we got a creature. Okay. The experiment has 4 fight, 7 health, massive. The experiment gets +3 clues, +3 health per investigator. Holy crap. When this enemy phase begins, ready the experiment. Objective, if the experiment is defeated, advance to 3B. Okay, so I gotta kill that thing. Is that it? If the experiment, okay. Alright, so now we go to 3, we don't go to 3B yet. It says if the experiment is defeated. So do I go to 3A? Oh, I do. Okay. 3A says some kind of wild creature is on the loose. Whatever it is, it appears to be headed towards the dormitories. Okay, it's not there. Forced. When this agenda would advance by reaching its doom threshold, instead remove all doom in play and move the experiment 1 location towards the dorms. Objective. If the experiment enters the dorms, advance this. All right, so I've got to prevent it from getting here. And it's got 4 doom tokens to do that. Okay. Because when I get 2, it'll move here, and when I get 2 more, it'll move there. So I got 4, basically I got 4 turns. When it gets to the dorms, there's last card, and since there's a last card, I know what this means. It means that whatever's on the back of this probably means I lose. All right, so now it is Jenny's turn. Jenny has a knife. Woohoo! She will play the knife. She can move 2 more. 1, 2. So she can. So her turn is done. Oh, that's not good. So she'll attack him. Mark is here, so Mark can move. Okay, so this is good. All right, so Mark will move. First action, he moves here. He will engage the experiment. All right, so he's got 2 actions left. He does have his weapon. He has Greta, which will help. Does he have anything else? No, not really. Nothing else helps him. All right, so this thing has how much health? It was 7 plus 3 per, so it's got 7 plus 13. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 13 on there. Here's 12, and here is 13. So as I do damage, I'll take it off of here. All right, so 13 health. Actually, you know, I got to leave it here so I know where it is. All right, so it's there. When the enemy phase begins, ready the experiment. Okay. So he'll always get to attack. Okay, massive. All right, so 13 health, 4 fight. All right, let's do this. The weapon he has gives him +1 fight and +1 damage. For every time he hits, he's going to do 2 damage, but he's only got 2 turns left, so he can do 4 damage in this turn. Actually, he can't move here. He goes here, then here. So I've got 6. I did that wrong. Okay, so let's do this. Mark has 3 resources, and none of these are going to help me. So he's going to shoot it. He'll spend a bullet. He gets +1 fight. So he's at 5, 6, and Greta's going to give him 7. 7 versus 4. I like those odds. 7 versus 4. 7 minus 1 is 6, so I do 2 points of damage. So I take this 3 off and put 1 on. All right, so now he's down to 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. All right. Spin a bullet. He will spin for his third turn. He will spin another bullet. And he still gets +1, +1, +1. So 5, 6, 7 versus 4. 7 plus 1 is 8. So another 2 points of damage done. So it's down to 9 health. And he is done. All right. So it is the creature turn. Creature will attack him. 2 physical and 2 mental. But I'm going to put that on. I'm going to put the 2 mental on Greta. So she goes away. That was unfortunate. And I'm going to put the 2 physical. If you take a direct damage, you get +2 for your skill test. So I can do that. As a fact, take 1 direct damage, you get +2 to your skill value for this test. Oh, he has to take the damage. Okay, never mind. So he does have 2 damage on him already. All right, that's not good. All right, the creature attacked. Now it is the Mythos phase. All right, we flip. Everybody gets a resource. I'm just tired of even giving her resources. I don't even know why I do it. And then they draw a card. He's got the home front. If this is successful, remove 1 damage. Move 1 damage from Mark to the. Oh, nice. And she gets Opportunist. If you succeed by 3 or more, okay. Okay, it's a wild card. That's good. I could use that. All right. She went first, so she will draw a card. Ancient Evils, Place of Doom. Oh, no. Oh, actually, I was supposed to put a Doom. Then I put another Doom, but unfortunately, this will not trigger until the next one because I'm doing the encounter cards now. All right, so she put that on, and then he draws a Thrall. Of course he does. So he's got enemies galore. And it says, spawn at the location with the most clues. Ooh, this is good because there's 2 here. Yeah, and I already got all the clues here. So it has to come down here. That is excellent. That worked out for me. All right, it is now their turn. All right, let's get her into the fight. She will move. That's her first action. She will use her knife to attack. She gets +1 fight. But if she discards the knife and uses it, she gets +2, and then she does 2 damage to it. I actually I can do that on the next one. So for the first fight, she's going to get 1 fight. She's at 4 fight versus 4. She'll contribute the Opportunist to make it 5. He will give Flashlight to make it 6 because he can contribute 1 card. So he's going to make it 6. 6 versus 4. Not the greatest odds, but 6 versus 4. 6 minus 1 is 5. So she does a damage to it. So one of these goes down to 2. I pulled Doom tokens instead of health tokens, but that's all right. You know what I mean. 3, 6, 7, 8. 8 damage. All right, now for her third and final action, she will discard the knife. She gets +2 fight and +1 damage. So +2 fight gets her up to 5. Mark can contribute. If he uses this, it'll bump her up 5 + 4, 9 versus 4. She'll do an extra point of damage. He gets it automatically with the weapon. So I'm going to give it to her. It's 9 versus 4. I like these odds. Just don't draw the auto fail. 9 versus 4. 9 minus 0 is 0. So she does 2 points of damage to him. 2. So these 2 come off. It's down to 6 health. And then Mark committed the manual dexterity, which said he contributed. He contributed. What was it? The Opportunist goes back into her hand because it was successful. He contributed. What did he just? Oh, the home front, which says if this skill set test is successful during an attack, move 1 damage from Mark to the enemy. So he loses 1 health, and he gains 1. So this is down to 2. So he's at 5 health. All right. Ooh, I like that. All right, and she is done. That is her third and final turn. his turn. All right, let's go crazy here. He will use the last bullet. He is at 5, 6. He gets 6 versus 4. She's going to contribute Opportunist. And it says if you succeed by 3 or more, return it to your hand after this test. So he's got to succeed by 3 or more. So what did I say? 5, 6. And it deals an extra point of damage. 6. 6 versus 4, and I contributed this, so it makes it 7 versus 4. I did do it by 3, so this goes back into her hand. He does 2 damage, so these go away. This thing is down to 3 health. He has one more turn. That was his first. Yeah, that was his first because I had 1 bullet left. So the gun is empty. So he's got 2 actions left. And he's gonna attack. I mean, that's all he can do. So he will fight. His fight is 5 versus 4. She can contribute Opportunist again. He's got to beat it by 3. So now it's 6 versus 4. He needs a +1. 6 versus 4. 6 minus 1 is 5. He didn't beat it by 3, so this gets discarded. But he does do a point of damage, so it's down to 2 health. And for his third and final one, he has nothing to contribute. She can't contribute anything. And so it's just straight up 5 versus 4. This is his last turn. 5 versus 4. That is -1. So I didn't fail. So he does another point. The thing's got 1 health left. Yeah, this was his. So 1 health left. But that's the end of his turn. It is now the creature phase. The creature will attack him for 2 and 2. So 2 on. 2 on. Okay. Now it is the Mythos. So we put 1 on, but then they come off because this will now move here. So it moves from them. It's fleeing towards the dormitories. And it's only got 1 health left, so that's okay. Jenny drew first, so she gets locked door. Attached to the location with the most clues. Right there. Mark draws Whippoorwill, Aloof, Hunter. Each investigator at the Whippoorwill location. So it's aloof, so it stays here. As long as I don't attack it, it will not do anything. And since I'm not going to stay there, the hunter skill says that it will move, right? That's if I attack it, and I'm not going to attack that thing. All right, so now it is, I forgot to flip them over. I forgot to get the resource, and I forgot to get the cards. So he gets Guard Dog, that'll be helpful, and she gets Flashlight, which is not helpful. All right, let's do Mark. Mark's going to move first. He will move to the creature for 1 action. It's only got 1 health left. He is going to pay 3 to play the Guard Dog. I'm just going to get rid of the gun because at this point I don't think I'm going to need it again. He's got the dog out for his second action, and it says when an enemy attack deals damage to Guard Dog, deal 1 damage back. So if I don't beat it, when it attacks me, it's going to attack the Guard Dog, and that 1 damage back is going to kill it. But let's hope I don't have to do that, because I don't know if this game is done yet. So 3, it's got 1 health. So I am going to attack. I've got 5 versus 4. I get no bonuses because the dog doesn't help me. 5 versus 4. So this is his second action. 5 versus 4. 5 minus 2 is 3. So I failed it. And his third and final action is 5 versus 4. 5 minus 1 is 4. I do the last damage. And it says, if the experiment is defeated, advance to Act 3B. 3B is this one. The monstrous creature lets out a terrible shriek as it succumbs to its wounds and collapses onto the ground. A foul odor emanates from the corpse as its flesh begins to bubble and froth. Your relief turns to disgust as the body as the body begins to shrink and disintegrate. Minutes later, the body is almost entirely evaporated into a sticky mess, and the odor has vanished. Inside the remains of the creature's body, all you can find is a set of bones, the skeletal structure of a canine. And I'm supposed to read R3, Resolution 3. Resolution 3. After defeating the strange and terrifying creature, you rush to the faculty offices to find Professor Rice. Got it. By the time you get to his office, there is no sign of him. Well, shoot. In the campaign log, record that Professor Rice was kidnapped. Record the experiment was defeated. Each investigator earns experience equal to victory X, which I believe in this case is just 2. If this is the first scenario of the campaign, okay, so I did beat it. Excellent. All right, so I got that. I did get all the clues off of the Orn, which is victory 1. Did I do anything else? Any other victory points? That was it. So no more victory points. What's on the back of the alchemy lab? Discover clues, take the alchemical concoction. Well, what does that do? I always like to know what I missed. Oh, it's something you got to fight. Ooh. Oh, no, it's a bonus. Instead, it gives you plus 6 damage. Wow, that would have been nice. And the dormitories. What's in the dorm? If investigators in the dormitory spend 3 clues, read R2. And R2 is probably Professor Warren was kidnapped. So I don't think I'm supposed to find Professor Warren. Unless there's R3. Oh, I didn't do Resolution 1, which would have had me rescue him. All right, well, that's it. I'm done. All right, so it looks like I did get 3 victory points, which is excellent. I did not rescue the... I didn't succeed in the dormitories, which would have given me another victory point. So 3 plus the 2 remaining means I have 5 victory points, 5 XP per player, which is excellent. All right, that is the end of the second scenario. There are 8 scenarios in this campaign. So the next video, I'll be playing scenario number 3. I don't know what the name of it is. I haven't even opened the box yet for the Dunwich Horror. This was the starter box. The old way they did it was there was a starter box which gave you like 2 investigators or 5 investigators plus the first 2 scenarios, and then you bought the individual scenarios as these little packs. They look kind of like this. I've got 6 of these for the remaining 6 scenarios in this campaign. So what I'll be doing next is, in the next video, I'll be setting up scenario 3 and running through it. It looks like they survived. She did not get any permanent trauma. He didn't either. So they'll be back to full health. And this is fun. I've not played Dunwich Horror, so this is going okay so far. All right, this is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me as I play through this game. I'll be back very soon with the next episode. Until then, everybody, take care.